Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes the caution.
Flag is dropped here at Daytona, and away go for the first time. Nicholas Morcell, Sean.
Looks like most get through unscathed. Look at that, there's Reed Gibson. A big move at the inside line of Dom's, possibly a little bit of contact.
Up now as we've got 3 wide action going through turns 1 and 2.
And they're underway. Eric Hahn takes a nice jump. Wilson hasn't let him go very far.
Go out here for Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Alex Johnson's off to a brilliant start there.
Just how oddly shaped this one is. We saw in the background Eric Hahn go for a bit of a swing, and he's gone and he's over.
New stuff. Cody Graham's the one-on-one up into second place. Alex Johnson 6/10 lead at the moment.
They're dicey up front. There's Andrew Kessel, Justin Sang.
They are ready to go. The lights are out, and away we go for the very first time here at Okayama International Circuit. Finley Fitzsimmons.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome back to the iFormula League Formula 3 Series. Formula 3 iRacing League, the presenting sponsor of this event. Check them out, iFormulaLeague.com, if you too want to get on the action. My name is James East, filling in for Mr. Finley Fitzsimmons on behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Bring the action 1080p, 60 frames a second, as we are in for getting ready as drivers currently out on track for qualifying. Let's see how it stacks up. It's Cody Graham's leading the leaderboard in the 101 machine. Just a little bit ahead of James Malaire, the number 9. And it's close, 0.04 of a second separating those two. But Graham's last time by, that was his fastest lap, a 1:28.10. Good enough for the top spot of the leaderboard. As always, thank you to our fans, friends, and family. Tune in, supporting the league, supporting the drivers, as well as supporting the broadcast. Now, I have been studying my pronunciation notes leading up to today's main event. But fans, please, if I'm calling your favorite driver's last name incorrectly during the show, let me know. We can get that corrected and get my notes jotted down, because without you guys at home and the racers on track, these shows would not happen each and every Sunday morning for the iFormula Formula 3 Series. Looks like Solano trying to get a little bit of heat in the tires there in that number 99 machine. He is on his outlap. We've got less than 5 minutes for drivers. If they're going to improve their spot on the leaderboard and in qualifying, they've got to do it now. 27 drivers have put down times. 2 drivers have yet to put down a qualifying time. That's Tristan Marshall in the 114, Alex Johnson in the 196. Right now they are in pit road, so not sure if they're going to get another swing at it. I've got to say, I'm very excited. I've watched a few of the races here, both the Formula 1 and the Formula 3 of the iFormula League Racing. Excited to call the action for the first time. A very stacked field of talent. As the broadcaster's curse hits there, and we watch, I believe that was Solano finding himself involved with a parked driver out on track. As we check elsewhere on track, Alex Gutnick, the number 14 Canadian, working his way through. It looked like that might have been his teammate with a bit of an off-track excursion there. Andy Ray Miller, the 333 machine, he's currently qualified 8th. As he makes his way around Gutnick. Good to see some familiar names and faces out on track as well. James Malaire, I've called him a few times in open wheel racing, always a fast contender, as he's currently showing that second in qualifying. Andy Ray Miller is going to come down pit road. Looks like that may end his qualifying. A slight chance he takes tires and goes right back out. And I'm interested to see if Cody Graham is going to put down another flyer to improve on that top spot. He wants to get a little bit of breathing distance, knowing Malaire still out on track. Malaire 1:29.05 last time by. Running out of time if he wants to improve on that 1:28.14. Now Graham's not too far ahead of him as James Malaire. Looks like both drivers are going to have a clean track for the rest of this lap. I think this may be the last lap they get here in qualifying. Malaire has an off track. And the number 9 machine thankfully does not impede Graham's. So Malaire, I don't think he's going to have a chance to improve and fight for that pole position. He may be having to settle for second here. And that could be a bit of a reprieve for Graham's, knowing that his stiffest competition is going to be behind him off the break. Wonder if we're going to see Graham's back off the pace here, knowing this lap is just for bragging rights. Let's see what it is as he crosses the line. A 1:28.25, so it doesn't quite improve on his pole setting time. Again, that's a 1:28.10. Mayorga, the number 2 machine, currently qualified 13th with a 1:29.3. Needs to find 0.02 of a second to edge out Ian Rude's number 22 machine. Few drivers still out on track, as we've got about 20 seconds in closing fast of this qualifying session of round 4 of the Formula 3 series, the Dutch Grand Prix. Mayorga, 1:29.37, not going to improve on that position, and that is going to bring qualifying to a close here today. Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our main event, the feature event of the evening. As let's run through today's grid. Graham starting in pole position. Malaire starting second. Barbaru starts third. Solano starting fourth. Larson starting fifth. Solander starting sixth. Potts will be starting seventh in the number 41 machine. Miller starting eighth. O'Keefe starts ninth. Schroeder starting 10th. Beezer in the number 93 starts 11th. Rude will be starting 12th here today. Let's cycle on back to Mayorga starting 13th. Beezer starting 14th. Paul starting 15th. Pasori starting 16th. Aliou starting 17th. Journey starts 18th. Gutnick starting 19th. Kuman starting 20th. Ayala starting 21st. Smith starting 22nd. Marshall starting 23rd on the grid. Matheson starting 24th. Cycling it back one final time. Magnuson starting 25th. Clark 26th on the grid. Mabunga starting 27th. Johnson starting 28th. Marshall will round out the 29-car grid. Looks like we're waiting on Larson, Smith, and Johnson to make their way out onto the grid. A very healthy grid, 29 entries here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Looks like everybody's going to make their way out onto the grid. Here we go. The lights go off, and we are underway for the feature event. Oh, it's going to be very busy into turn one. Grams holds on to the race lead from that top spot in qualifying. Malaire right in tow. You can see just behind that Barbaru, Larson, Solano, Potts, Solander, all in the mix here. A little bit of a lock up there from Malaire. Let's see if Barbaru, the number 13 machine, is going to be able to capitalize. Because I think Grams and Malaire are trying to break away from the rest of the field here and get some momentum going. A little bit further back, Frank Beezer, the number 61 machine, he's squarely in the mix. chasing Justin Pasori in the number 65. Pasori already up 3 spots so far. We've got 29 laps on the docket, or an hour and a half, whatever comes first here. As we've got a very, very intense battle from about 13th place back. That's starting with Frank Beasley, the 61 machine. We got Pasori, Journey, Aliu, Mayorga, Kuman also starting to get in the mix here. Cody Graham's your race leader, stretching that gap to almost a full second over Malaire. Oh, there's somebody off track. That's Solano. Takes a wild ride. Thankfully, keeps it off the wall. We've got another crash report. Randolph Smith involved in one. Let's get the replay queued up for Smith here. So Smith was just waiting for a rejoin, and let's check once more to see what happened to Solano. Solano, the number 99 machine, out on screen. Just pushes a little bit too wide. Gets bumped up by the curbing, and around he goes. Checking in on Andre Solandra, the 140 machine. He's right behind Jake Potts in the 41. Potts up 2 spots so far. The top 3 have not gained nor lost any positions so far here. It's Grams, Malaire, Barbaru, 1, 2, 3, exactly as they started. We go on board with Andy Ray Miller, the 333 machine. You can see Solandra and Potts just ahead. Oh, hard on the brakes goes Miller, almost a little bit too deep there. You know, his eyes must have been getting a little bit big there with that rapid closing distance. Graham's a 128.73 as he sits out front. Clean air and clean track. They got down to low 128s in qualifying. We get another crash report. Kenneth Paul found himself off track. Let's see what happened to Paul on that number 10 machine. Is it a solo incident? Yes, too hard on the brakes. Off track he goes. And more crashes, this time Aliu. Oh, just loses the back end there. Unfortunately, taking a tow back to pit road. A lot of drivers having to retire early on. Kenneth Paul, Aliu currently in pit road. Matheson had problems early on as well. Heading back to the battle for 14th, 13th. John Journey and Arturo Mayorga battling for the 13th place spot. Mayorga, the number 2 machine. Journey, the number 31. Journey a little bit defensive there, trying to keep that number 2 machine at bay. Ayala and Kuman not too far back as well in 15th and 16th. Here we go. Mayorga makes the pass and makes it stick. Edging out Journey. Oh, Journey gets in the back of Mayorga. Around goes Journey. Thankfully, the rest of the field able to get through here, but oh, it's a rough start to the feature event. So many drivers having problems very early on. Looks in on Larson, the number 7 machine, getting chased by Jake Potts, the 41. Solandra and Miller also in the fray here, running 6th and 7th. And if you're watching from across the world, let us know who you're cheering for out on track. We can make sure your favorite driver gets the TV time they well deserve. Here comes Andy Ray Miller trying to put the pressure on Salander. Oh, and too much pressure. Miller has to tap the brakes midway through the corner, sends it sliding around. There goes Jacob Beezer in the number 93 machine, taking over the 9th place spot. Miller falls back now to 10th, undoing all of that hard work. Another race out on track. Ayala and Kuhlman battling for the 14th place position. We've got several drivers coming down pit road. Ian Rude coming down pit road. Volker giving a shout out from Germany, enjoying the broadcast. Bong in the number 55 machine getting some love from the fans, and we just got another crash report. Something has happened to Jake Potts. Finds himself pointed the wrong direction. Potts falls now back to 10th. Let's see, is it a solo incident for that driver of the 41 machine? Little bit heavy on the curb and maybe too far to the left, and oh, what a precarious spot. Potts finds himself in, quickly gets it whipped it around. Always nerve-wracking when drivers are trying to get themselves corrected. Potts looks to make a move back on Miller to work himself further back inside the top 10. Cody Graham, still your race leader. James Malaire runs second. Barbaru running third. I do like here at the iFormula Formula 3 series, the drivers can take that toe and get back out on track, but who is that? That is Jacob Beezer. Crashed in an extremely precarious spot. Thankfully, the rest of the field did not get collected with that number 93 machine. A precarious spot to loop it around. Takes a tow back to pit road in frustration. But there was a freight train of fast drivers coming through at that exact moment. Alex the Great joined us, cheering on Lumos and Knox. Looks like a battle for 6th starting to shape up as well. Jeff Schroeder has Danny O'Keefe right behind. That's 6th and 7th. Schroeder up 4 spots. O'Keefe is up 2 so far. 7 laps currently clicked off. Still 28 drivers out on track. Jacob Beezer in pit road after his self-spin. O'Keefe trying very hard to put that head down. See if he can catch up to Schroeder. Schroeder gaining a little bit of time here, though. And once again, Grams clicks off the fastest lap of the race, a 128.45. Malaire last time by a 128.89, so your race leader Grams continuing to stretch that gap. as we watch the battle for 6th between Jeff Schroeder and Danny O'Keefe, separated by about 0.6 of a second. And the field pretty well stretched out here. Schroeder and O'Keefe, the two closest drivers we have out on track, separated by 0.4 of a second. You got Andy Ray Miller, Jake Potts there about 0.6 apart, and Justin Pasori and Paul Ayala separated by about a second. Jack Clark has an off-track excursion. Clark, that 197 machine. It's the same spot we've seen, just eating drivers up here. A little bit too much curbing. The car gets unsettled. Next thing you know, around you go. O'Keefe had closed the gap down to less than 1/4 of a second to Schroeder. Not able to complete the pass. O'Keefe trying to get the draft set up, just not quite having luck. Looks to go around the outside. Schroeder's still running very defensive there, a little further back. We had Andy Ray Miller and Jake Potts separated by about 1/4 of a second. Miller extends the gap once more. Mayorga comes down pit road. What may be a green flag stop, a scheduled green flag stop. Haven't seen Mayorga involved in too many incidents here, so I don't think it's damage related. Still waiting to see if O'Keefe is going to be able to pull out and make a move on Schroeder. It almost seems like O'Keefe, who's up 2 spots, just kind of pacing that number 73 machine. Maybe getting a toe, seeing where Schroeder's strong at, maybe what his weaknesses are, and kind of planning things out for later on the feature. But look how deep O'Keefe is on the brakes there. First time he did it, I thought he missed his brake mark, but that's just how hard he's driving. But it looks like Schroeder maybe going the slow in, fast out technique a little bit more, trying to carry a little bit more momentum in these Formula 3 machines. And you can see O'Keefe has to play catch up every time they roll out onto a big length of track. So I think Schroeder's doing the right thing here. Backing up the corners ever so slightly to get the best possible run, and that seems to be keeping O'Keefe at bay. It's still Grams, Malaire, Barbaru, your top 3. Larson and Salander rounding out the top 5. Everybody in that top 5 pretty much in a league of their own, separated by more than a second across the board in this feature event. But we've seen plenty of incidents so far to keep things exciting, and it is definitely not over till it's over. If you notice the track map on the bottom right hand of your screen, race leader Cody Grams is quickly going to be approaching traffic. 4 drivers, 22nd through 25th, just ahead of that race leader. Going to be a precarious spot for Grams to be in as we check in on Grams. More problems this time, it shows, as Kuhlman and Magnussen involved in an incident. Let's see if maybe it's the same incident. Getting the replay queued up here. Here's Kuhlman, the number 63 machine. Loops it around, and a good save there. Those 2 separate incidents with Eric Magnussen also having his own off-track excursion. Number 16 machine still holding on to 18th. Just misses the apex a little bit. And man, absolutely drills the left side of that machine. things just go from bad to worse for Magnussen. Surely he's going to have to take a tow here, tricycling around with 3 wheels. A hazard to himself and others if he rejoins the circuit. Taking the rarely talked about grass maintenance route around the track. But he's going to have to cross a hot track if he wants to pit, and he pulls right out into the track. Oh, he's got to take a tow here. Thankfully, he does. And that's what we were talking about for Cody Grahams. Kind of getting back in the meat grinder. Here's race leader Cody Grahams working his way through traffic. Drivers will be seeing the blue flag and realizing, hey, I gotta hop out of the way here if I can help it. Kyle Matheson off track. He takes a tow back to pit road as Grahams works his way by. Grahams has safely made his way around Jack Clark in the 197. Another incident out on track. Jeff Schroeder, Danny O'Keefe, those two that have been battling so intently may have just collected each other. Let's see what happens. We're focusing on Schrader, and I think O'Keefe may have just gotten to the back of him ever so slightly. Let's get one more angle of that one and see if that was O'Keefe that may have caused that one. It looks like he got into the back of Schroeder. Yeah, I think Schroeder may have just turned in ever so slightly. And O'Keefe nowhere to go. O'Keefe definitely got the better end of that one as he holds on to the 7th place spot. Schroeder back down to 9th. I think by neither driver having too much damage here. But that one will definitely get reviewed by the race marshals. Frank Bees with the number 61 machine. Having a great race, up 4 positions so far, now inside the top 10. Trying to see if he can get around Schroeder's 73 machine. Looks like our hard charger of the night, though, going to be Alex Johnson as it stands, the number 196, up 11 positions. Nobody as of yet in the top 10 has come down pit road. Jeff Schroeder, Paul Ayala down pit road. Let's see, is Grahams going to continue his run? I would imagine Grahams is going to stay out as long as he possibly can. He is continuously putting ground on the rest of the field here. A fair amount of traffic ahead, but not worth coming down pit road. I think wherever he comes out, he's going to have lap traffic ahead and behind him here. And he's built up almost a 5-second advantage over James Malaire, that number 9 machine. He's got, I believe that's going to be 19th and 20th of Randolph Smith and Ian Rude just ahead of your race leader. Victor Solano comes down pit road and the 99 machine for a green flag stop. Ooh, James Miller just had a very brief off track. Oh no, we've got problems. James Miller in a huge incident. Barbaru also tied up in that one. Heartbreak for the number 9 machine, was running so extremely well. Let's see what happens to Miller here. Exact same story we've seen. Hits the curbing, around he goes, locks up the brakes, and just gets absolutely obliterated by Barbaru, who had nowhere to go there. So Miller's race rapidly going the wrong direction, takes a tow back to pit road. Barbaru also down pit road. That's going to put Larson and Salander into podium contention. Larson, the number 7, up 3 spots. Salander, the 140, also up 3 spots. That just goes to show it is not over till it's over, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Graham's working his way through the field here. Traffic very respectful, yielding to the race leader. I've got to say, for my first time in the booth for this series, this is spectacular. Oh, we've got more incidents out on track, though. This time it's Voltex triggering the crash report multiple times. Oh, waiting for a clean spot to rejoin. It pulls right out into traffic. Oh, I think that was Frank Beezer that got tagged there. But unfortunately, just poor situational awareness. Jake Potts, Frank Beezer down pit road. Ted Kubin also coming down pit road. A whole lot of excitement here, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Grahams has made it where he's very nearly lapped a large portion of the field here. I believe it's going to be about 15 drivers from 15th place back, that will be a lap down. And Grahams is going to have a bigger advantage as Larson, running second, comes down pit road for their one scheduled green flag stop. Cody Graham's rocking and rolling. Last time by a 129.03, fastest lap of the race. A 128.45. Larson returns out on track, still holding on to fourth. Your top three, Graham, Salander, O'Keefe, have yet to come down pit road here. Now, we imagined Graham was going to stay out as long as possible, enjoying that clean track, putting the rest of the field as far back, and keeping that 101 machine out of the meat grinder. We've got Alex Great going, what is even happening? And I've got to ask the same thing, Alex. My first time in the booth for this series, and it seems like maybe the commentator's curse struck very, very hard here, and just absolute calamity, as it looked like Graham was thinking about coming down pit road. But I think pit road was just about blocked. Mayorga limping here down pit road. I think Grahams was trying to come down pit road that time by, and then saw the entrance to pit road pretty much well and blocked. Danny O'Keefe in third. He's coming down pit road. Salander, let's see if he's going to stay out another lap. No, Larso looks like everybody except for Cody Grams, your race leader, Nick Marshall in 8th, and Randolph Smith in 13th have completed their one stop so far of the race. So surely Grams will be coming in this time by. Looks like possibly a little bit of fuel saving there for Grams. Yeah, he's going to come down pit road. Your race leader going to enter pit road. And let's see where that puts Larson, the number 7 machine, up 3 spots. So Grams does make it onto pit road. It looked like he was doing a little bit of fuel saving, so it must have been close. And now all eyes on Larson, the number 7 machine. Grams rolls out of his pit stall in 7.3 seconds, taking enough fuel to make it till the end here. Where is Larson? How far back is he going to be as your race leader already through turn 1? It's going to be quite a gap. As we wait for live timing to settle down, looks like it's going to be around that 12-second mark, 12.5 seconds. Cody Grams still holds on to the lead here. Still a lot of traffic in the horizon for Grams, though. He's got Gutnick not too far ahead, and he's Gutnick running 16th, up 3 positions. We've got fans asking, Volker asking if this is fixed or open setup. So it's an open setup league, so drivers can set up the machines to their preference. And we'll go ahead and put a link in the broadcast as well. If you're interested in getting out here and battling with the Titans, the link is posted. Check out the iFormulaLeague.com/the F3-series for full rulebook schedule information. And proudly broadcasted by Team Goon Squad each and every Sunday. Got more racing still going on track. Looks like Alex Johnson picks up a pass against Justin Pasori. Alex Johnson is up 20 positions so far. Now, very interesting. Johnson's come down pit road twice. Last pit stop was on lap 12, so able to overcome in this event and make something happen. The field very, very stretched out. The 2 closest drivers I see out on track are going to be Jack Clark and Tristan Marshall battling for 21st. They're about 3/4 of a second apart. As we check back in on Cody Grams, he's got 14th place driver Ian Root just ahead, the number 22 machine. So 14 drivers still remain on the lead lap. 9 laps left to go here. John Duval asking a question, what's the difference between fixed and open setups? So fixed, the best equivalent I can draw is basically spec racing, everybody in the exact same machine, the exact same setup, everything identical except for the connection between the seat and the steering wheel, that being the driver. So open setups, you can change all sorts of stuff. If you're maybe a newer driver and you need more downforce, you can adjust that to your liking. If you're a more experienced driver that wants to sacrifice downforce for speed, for top speed, you can back off the wing a little bit. So it allows a little bit more freedom to drivers to set up for their preferences, is how I would describe it. Volker making a good point. You can change the brake bias, or balance, I believe they call it in the Formula 3 machines, over the run. even in fixed setups, so allow you to kind of change how things are, what front or rear wheels receive more braking force over the duration. And for those that are kind of listening to us talk about fixed and open setups and maybe on the fence and being a little bit intimidated by the fact that it is open setup, I can't stress enough, it all comes down to the driver. The open setup is great for setting something up to your preferences, but a talented driver can take one of the iRacing setups and get pretty darn close based on skill. That's my big thing from a driver and a broadcaster point of view, is allowing things to be tweaked to your liking, because my setup is going to be a little bit different than, say, Alex DeGreat's setup, depending on our driving style and preferences. Cody Graham still holding on to the race lead, a massive 11.2 second lead. A 129.10 last time by for Grams. Larson has the pace, a 129.15 his last time by, but that massive deficit is going to be hard to overcome without some sort of mistake by Grams. I'm not going to say it's impossible judging how this race has went so far. We've seen some pretty wild single car incidents that have taken out a lot of fast drivers. And speaking of, got to give credit to James Miller, has worked his way back up into 12th after that massive moment. So very impressed with the drivers. Very few drivers we've seen today been involved in an incident say, you know what, let's put it back in the virtual hauler and get ready for the sprint race. And Grams answers the call, a 128.4 fastest lap of the race. Very late into it, works his way around, trying to see just who that was. I believe that was 24th place driver Aliyu. And now Ian Rude going to fight to stay on the lead lap in the number 22 machine. But if there was a question if Grams was going to back off the pace and take it easy, the answer is a resounding no. Absolutely flying in that 101 machine. Catching up to Ian Rude. As we go on board race leader Cody Grams. Graham just absolutely ripping it here. Ian Rude having a pretty solid race. Qualified 12th, currently running 13th, but Rude's going to come down pit road. Second stop of the night. And that's going to give a little bit more clean track to Grams. That is where his happiest. He did a 129.61 that last time by. Still holding an 11.6 second advantage over Frederick Larson. Andy Ray Miller holding on to the third place spot in the 333 machine. And you can see how properly rubbered up the track is starting to get here. Five laps left to go for Grams. James Miller starting to cut back through the field. This time it's John Journey ahead, the number 31 machine. Sees that number 9 of Miller getting mighty close right behind. But Miller definitely in a point-saving situation. Journey a bit of a bobble there. Miller checks up heavy to get through unscathed. So another position for Malaire, having to capitalize on a feature event full of misfortune. Now, I have been told by the stewards this is definitely not the norm. Very rare to see so many of the fast and talented heavy hitters we normally see at the front each and every week involved in misfortune, but it has been a rough go for these drivers today. Lap traffic hopping out of the way for race leader Cody Grams. That was, I think that was Randolph Smith hopping out of the way and yielding position. No, I think that was Voltex. No, I'm stand corrected once more. I'm going to get it right eventually. That was Kenneth Paul on the number 10 machine. And if you're not following along with the YouTube chat, the fan area, after this event, we've got a very brief 5-minute intermission, and then we're going straight into the sprint race, which is going to be action-packed, the top 12, an inverted grid. But right now, John Journey holding on to that 12th place position. If he finishes in that same spot, we'll be starting on pole for the sprint event. 7 laps of action, no cautions, and it is going to be an elbows-out affair here. Cody Grams catching up to Voltex in the 55 machine. Voltex up 3 positions so far. A little bit of a lockup there ahead of race leader Cody Grams. Grams has not slowed down over the duration of this event. Very rare to see him doing much slower than a 129 flat. Last time a 128.92. Now that has been slightly dependent on traffic. As ooh, I think that was Voltex. A big blink ahead of your race leader Grams. Grams checks up heavy, not knowing where that 55 machine was going to reappear at. I'm curious to see if Graham is going to catch up to Nick Marshall, that 32 machine, by the time it's all said and done. Marshall running 21st, up 2 positions. Hard charger still Alex Johnson, the 196, 20 spots gained so far. Looks like we've got a little bit of racing there going on. Ted Kuhn feeling the pressure from Victor Solano. Solano, the 99 machine, another very fast, talented driver that just had a very rough go of it in this feature event. Kuhn, though, up 7 spots. Unfortunately, without a mistake up from the top 12, I don't think Kuhlman's going to be able to get into that inverted top 12 position, especially with the pressure that Victor Solano currently showing, as the laps are rapidly dwindling here in the feature event. Still have 24 drivers out on track out of the 29 that entered. Here comes Solano trying to take up that 13th place spot, not quite able to do it yet. But you can tell Victor trying to get that position taken away from the 63 of Kuhlman. Less than a 10th and a half separating the two. Solano's going to take a peek to the inside line. No, Kuhlman shuts the door. Kuhlman off track though. Dives a little bit too deep. Solano's going to take the long way around. It's going to be a drag race, but looks like Solano's going to have the preferred line. And yes, taking over the 13th place spot from Victor Kuhlman. Excuse me, Ted Kuhlman. I love calling races like this. Doesn't matter where you're out on track. Still great racing to be had any which way you look. Cody Graham's continuing the charge up front in that 101 machine. A 12.7 second advantage over Larson. And look who's linked back up out on track. It's Jeff Schroeder and Danny O'Keefe. Two drivers that just can't get away from each other here. Schroeder, the number 73 machine, O'Keefe in the 15. Nine-tenths separating the two. We may still have a battle underway as the white flag flies for Cody Graham's race leader. Having just an incredibly spectacular run here, been able to avoid the carnage. Alex, let me know to get the voice ready for the sprint race where it's going to be non-stop action. I hope you guys are ready. I'm going to be doing my best auctioneer impression calling this race. Gotta say, been a huge fan of calling this series so far. Great racing and an extremely talented field here today. Justin Basori getting the pressure from Barbaru in the battle for ninth. Oh, and we're going to go 3 wide. Oh, no, Barbaru gets collected. I think that was traffic. Unfortunately, 3 wide with Paul Ayala. And Pasori just did not pan out for Barbaru, but got to give a tip of the hat to that massive aggressiveness. Cody Graham takes the checkered, bringing home the win this feature event. Frederick Larson bringing home second. And Andy Ray Miller makes his way around to round out the podium. James Malaire. Oh, there's an incident there between Malaire and Pasori. Oh, and Pasori with a... Trying to see where out on the track that is. So yes, that is drivers with questionable rejoins for days. And you can see how damaged Pasori is in the 65 machine. Going to have to very carefully make his way around, but keep an eye out. This race isn't over. There comes Barbaru. May be able to improve on points here slightly, knowing Pasori ahead, very injured. The gap closing. This is going to be the last battle we have out on track. Does Barbaru have anything left? No, Barbaru also driving wounded. It's a slow race between Pasori and Barbaru. And I think Pasori's going to be able to hold on to it here. Pasori will just barely hold on to that 11th place spot. But Barbaru closed the gap with 2.4 seconds there at the end. The protest forms will be getting queued up and ready. Here's your feature results. It's Cody Graham's in the top spot. Frederick Larson finishing second. And Andy Ray Miller will round out the top 3. My, oh my, what an exciting race. Pull up the back of the grid there. And we're going to run a very brief intermission. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back for the action-packed sprint race of the evening. And I guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be a good one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The final sprint race of the night, and it is going to be an exciting one. The top 12 inverted. Barbaru starting on pole. Pasori starts second. Journey will be starting third. Malaire starting fourth. Johnson starting fifth. Beezer starting sixth. O'Keefe starting seventh. Schroeder starting eighth. Potts starts ninth. Andy Ray Miller starting 10th. Frederick Larson starting 11th. And Cody Graham's the feature event winner. He will be starting 12th here with this inverted top 12. And if you're not excited for this one, check your pulse, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready for the lights to go on and signify the sprint race to cap off the Dutch Grand Prix Round 4 of the iFormula Formula 3 Series. And we are underway, and already we've got problems. Nicholas Journey, Tristan Marshall triggering the crash software. Barbaru's going to lead the field into turn 1, an absolute meat grinder behind him. Speaking of meat grinder, oh, there's all sorts of carnage here. Let's get you a crash report. Marshall, Aliyu involved in that one, all off track. We'll try and get things sorted out a little bit and see if we can get that replay queued up for the fans at home. Where is Graham's? Graham's in the 9th place spot, quickly up 3 positions. Right behind Danny O'Keefe, Jeff Schroeder, 2 that have been inseparable so far here tonight. Barbaru holds on to the race lead. Malaire is up 2 spots, trying to regain some points. Malaire, let's make it another spot as Barbaru goes off track. Safe rejoin. Everybody in there safe so far as we've got drivers scattered everywhere. That was Danny O'Keefe going off track. Beezer also off track. Oh my goodness. The field is scattered everywhere. There is no safety car that will be deployed. It is every man for himself. No quarter will be given. Here's Cody Graham's Victor Solano battling for the 6th place spot. Graham's the 101, Solano the 99. Malaire holds on to the race lead as the field is scattering everywhere. Pasori showing with an off track as well. There goes, yep, there's Pasori. Taking the roundabout way, easy on the rejoin, able to do so nice and easy. Cody Grahams makes his way up to 5th so far. There's a battle for the lead. James Malaire, Alex Johnson side by side. We're going to go 3 wide into turn 1. It's Malaire, Johnson, Potts, the gang's all here. Jeff Schroeder wants to interject himself into the party. Malaire, Johnson side by side up front. It's every man for himself. No, excuse me. That's going to be the battle for 4th. Solano trying to get his way through. They're about 3 seconds back from Potts. Schroeder, Larson making moves. Cody Graham still hold on to the 7th place spot, up 5 positions so far. All eyes on Graham's. He had to start 12th after winning the feature event. Can he make it back to back here at the Dutch Grand Prix? Alex Johnson doing everything in his power to keep the pressure on James Malaire. Jake Potts also in the mix in that 41 machine. The top 3 have pulled about a 2.8 second gap over the rest of the field. A little bit of a hint of an off track there for Alex Johnson. The 196 up 3 spots. Malaire wants to put the hammer down. If you remember, he qualified 2nd in the feature event. Had a very rough performance. And now trying to make things up here. Frederick Larson showing with an off track in a very dangerous spot to be crashed in. Larson takes a tow. All the work will be undone. Let's get the replay queued up at that number 7 machine. Oh, looked like a big blink there. And then Larson just collected. Holy, I mean, just unfair, but that's life in racing. As we watch Jeff Schroeder keeping the pressure on Cody Graham's right behind them. Salander and Journey battling for the 8th place spot. There's great racing all across the circuit. Journey and Beezer also going side by side. Looks like a little bit off-track excursion there for Journey. Able to hold on to it. Beezer works his way through. Beezer showing up 17 positions here. I was warned it was going to be exciting, and let me tell you, folks, that is absolutely the case. Victor Solano's off track, accompanied by Mayorga, I believe. The hits just keep coming. James Malaire, your race leader, he's also got an off track. That's going to allow Alex Johnson to close the gap. Here comes Johnson, the 196 machine. In the draft of Miller, it is a battle of attrition here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Grams has worked his way up into fourth, 1.2 seconds back from Jake Potts. As much as Graham wants a podium, consistency may be the call here. As it is a meat grinder with Schroeder, Barbaros, Salander. Everybody running nose to wing. What's going to happen here? Schroeder's looking to make a move into fifth. Oh no, and who was that? That was Beezer and Salander. Both drivers surely going to be out, surely going to be having heavy damage from that. Barbaro able to get through unscathed. Dropping like flies here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Miller holds on to the race lead, a half-second advantage over Alex Johnson. Johnson, 1.3 seconds up over Potts. And the fans with bated breath waiting to see if Cody Grams can maybe pull something out here in the 101. The protest form is going to have its work cut out for it here. As you can see on the left side of your screen, 20th through 29th place, all forced into an early retirement. Let's go further back in the battle for 9th. It's Aliou, Pasori, Miller. A 3-car battle for 9th. While this is going on, Alex Johnson keeping the pressure on Miller, getting that gap down to less than 2 tenths. Team Knox running first, third, and fourth. Miller, Potts, and Grams having a spectacular showing. Justin Pasori involved in another incident. That's going to collect Voltex and Marshall as well. As we go back up front, here comes Alex Johnson putting the pressure on Miller for the battle for the lead. We're already 5 laps in, 2 left to go. Miller runs very, very defensive here. Johnson trying to keep the pressure up. Meanwhile, you've also got a battle between Salander and Voltex. And more 3-wide action, as that was, I believe, either Tristan Marshall or Kyle Matheson coming down pit road. Salander takes over the 11th place spot. Let's pan the camera back to Miller and Alex Johnson, who are here to put on a show, ladies and gentlemen. That water break just wasn't quite long enough. Johnson has the fastest lap of the race, a 128.4 compared to Malero, 128.66. Now, to Johnson's credit, he does have that draft support off the rear wing of the number 9 machine, helping to close the gap. You can see Jake Potts doing everything he can to get up there and help his teammate Malero. They would like nothing more than a 1-2-3 finish for Team Knox. Johnson using that draft off the back of the number 9 machine, doing what he can. Miller wants nothing more than to forget about the feature event and end off this sprint race with a very strong finish. Building a little bit of a gap there over Johnson, almost up to a half second. We go on board with Johnson, the 196 machine. Potts still a second back for this battle for the lead. The laps are just about done. The white flag will be out this time by. Now we've seen Johnson make some massive moves on braking. Can he do it again to try and close that gap of Miller? It seems like they're putting a little bit of a gap now over Potts, up to about 1.2 seconds. Oh, this is going to be close. Johnson doing everything he can. Oh, very hard on the brakes, closes the gap. Who gets the better drive out of the corner? And it looks like it's going to be Johnson here. Down to a quarter of a second, Johnson in the draft of Miller. Miller pulls it back to 3/10. Are we going to see a move? Is it going to be at the start-finish line? They make their way around the final 2 corners. Potts watching this battle unfold, just can't quite get there and lend his support to Miller. Miller a quarter of a second ahead of Johnson, but Johnson's going to be in the draft here. Are we going to see Johnson put a line into turn 1? The white flag is out here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Malaire guards the inside line. Johnson tries the long way around. No such luck. It's still going to continue. Malaire and Johnson separated by 0.2 of a second. Potts briefly closes the gap down to about 1 second flat, down to 3/4 of a second. I don't think Potts is going to have time here. It is the Malaire and the Johnson show. These two drivers just in a league of their own. Johnson looking for any way around, takes a peek to the inside line. Malaire shuts the door. Johnson struggling to put the power down. He had to cut his line a little bit too early there, having to early apex. Rotates the car with the throttle. Potts closing the gap now down to 0.9 of a second. Oh, not a lot of track left here. Can Johnson maybe try something at the line? Malaire's going to hammer down, continue to drive defensively. But that final section, those final 2 corners are going to be absolutely crucial to keep Alex Johnson at bay. Malaire has a 3/10 advantage coming out in the start-finish line straight. Can Johnson stay in the draft? Does he have enough time? The checkered flag is out. Malaire tries to break the draft, but it's going to be James Malaire picks up the win here at the Dutch Grand Prix. Alex Johnson finishing second, and Jake Potts will round out the top 3. My goodness, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to try and get our top 3 for the feature event up here first, and then we'll bring Malaire, Johnson, and Potts back up to the booth. What an action-packed Sunday afternoon here at the iFormula F3 Series. We're going to pull up the results from the feature event first so we can hail those drivers up to the broadcast booth. We're going to try and get our top 3 drivers up here to victory lane. I guess we're going to start things off with the sprint race finishers. Up first, we're going to get Jake Potts in the number 41 machine, a solid third in a sprint race where we saw so many drivers retiring early. Take us what it was like from your point of view piloting that 41 machine.
Oh man, it was crazy. I got most of the work done on the start. I started in 9th, and then I think got up to like 4th right off the bat. And so I think it was all about just getting that really good start. It was clean, so I didn't have any damage, and then I was able to push a little bit and kind of stay with those 2 in front of me that were battling. So I was just hoping maybe one of them would make a mistake, and maybe I could get another position, but I'm glad my teammate got the victory, so it was awesome.
Now, Jake, I was going to ask about that. You saw your teammate James up there at the front having an intense battle with Johnson. Were you trying your best to get up there and see if you could lend some support during this very quick sprint race?
Yeah, right off the bat early on, I was hoping I could stay close enough that maybe I could get alongside Alex and start giving him some trouble so maybe James could pull away, but they were just too quick, and I didn't quite have the pace today.
Well, Jake, still solid pace all the way around. A very good finish, a third, up 6 spots from where you started in the sprint race. So good job all the way around. And before we let you go and celebrate with the rest of the hooligans over at Noxie Motorsports, who do you want to give a shout out to that helps make this win possible, or excuse me, this third possible for you?
Oh, huge shout out to Knox, everybody there, Cody and James. We pulled in a ton of points today. We needed it. We were kind of slacking in the championship here lately, so hopefully that'll get us back in that battle.
Awesome. Jake, a pleasure, my friend, and great run out there.
Thank you.
That was Jake Potts, the number 41 machine, trying to get Alex Johnson up here to the booth. See if we can get Alex Johnson up here to the interview booth. There we go. Up next, we got Alex Johnson finishing second in the 196 machine. Alex, you and Malaire just kept going back and forth the entire sprint race, really. You know, it seemed like a very, very fun game of cat and mouse you guys were having.
Yeah, that was honestly, it was awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed that, but I would have rather taken the win there.
Now, Alex, talk us through that. I mean, you guys seem so equally matched on pace. Was it a setup issue that you were battling, or was it just you guys were so incredibly close it was almost impossible to make a move?
I think I ran a little bit too much downforce. So whenever I got side by side with him, he could pull a tiny bit of a gap, and then he was super quick. So all very, very good driving from him. So yeah, all in all, he did a little bit better than me today, but. Yeah, looking that I had to start heat 1 or race 1 from last place, I can't complain really. But yeah, it's a bit frustrating, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, still a great race, up 3 positions, a finish in second, a very solid finish when we saw so many drivers having to retire early. Did you have a plan to surviving the lap 1 carnage that we were expecting in this sprint race?
I got halfway through turn 1 and then I got taken out myself, so I'd hoped for a bit better results there, but I got a great start, but then yeah, someone crashed in front of me and spun out into me, so there was nowhere for me to go, so I had to take an early pit stop and take a fast repair. And then I got some front wing damage in the middle of the race, so I couldn't, but I didn't change the front wing, so yeah, I nursed front wing damage the entire race 1 basically. Race 2 was obviously a bit more fun, but yeah, it is what it is. Glad it's over with now. On to Monza, I believe.
Well said, Alex. A great run out there. Glad you're able to turn things around. Before I let you go and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout to that helps make this second place possible for you?
Of course, the team, my sponsors, and yeah, people supporting us.
Awesome. Alex, a pleasure, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Thank you, mate. See you next week.
You as well, sir. That was Alex Johnson bringing home second in the sprint race. But up next, the man, the myth, the legend, James. Is it Malaire? Is that how I say that, James? It's been a minute, my friend.
And it's been several months, actually, since I got to speak to you.
Yeah, way too long. Malaire, good to have you back up here. Good to be in a booth with you once more. And even better, the top spot in the sprint race after it seemed like a feature event was just plagued by disaster. So you've got to be ecstatic turning today's race around.
Yeah, bittersweet. Making something out of nothing and making nothing out of something is basically what happened there. Real good race. I felt real bad that it went down the way it did. Looks like Marion pulled up a little early on that first lap of the sprint, and I wish we could have battled instead of me getting into the back of him there. So apologies to him and Get Good and those guys over there.
Now, James, I mean, we've both seen a lot of action-packed sprint races in the past. You were up 3 spots. I mean, what's the plan? Only 7 laps to try and make something happen. Is there any plans of, just keeping the car clean, or is it just send it immediately and see what happens here?
Well, we got a really good jump off the line. Ultimately, yeah, that is the strategy. It's defensive driving at its finest. When you go reverse grid like that, some of the pace differences get real large, and cold tires, and everybody's going last ditch effort for points. So it's really just hyper awareness. Thankfully this race though, we got off the line so good that Mary and I were able to leave the pack a little bit there at the beginning. And then what a race with Alex, I think it was, from Intent. I mean, probably some of the best racing I've had in a few months. That sprint race there, those last 3 laps. So was a great time, a lot of fun.
Well, James, it was great calling the action, man. A lot of fun watching that race unfold, and you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final sprint, the final send-off for this sprint race. Who do you want to give a shout to that made it happen, my friend?
shout out Lumos Academy, Knox Motorsports, Alex, Shauna always does a good job, league owner, team owner, team and principal, if you will. Jake Potts for running a good race at a track notoriously not his strong suit. Cody Graham's big first place for the team. We needed a bounce back week being in third place, so it was a good haul. Lots of resiliency, lots of battling shown there. And thank you guys for the broadcast, James. It's good talking to you again, man.
You as well. We'll do it more often. And James, congratulations again.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. That was James Miller finishing the top spot of the sprint race. Let's get some of our podium drivers from the feature event up here. Let's start things off with Andy Ray Miller, the 333 machine, aptly finishing third in that feature event. And Andy, it seemed like things were going okay for one point. Next thing you know, you're in podium contention.
Yeah, man. Just tried to focus on running some clean laps, staying out of all the trouble that was going on out there. Unfortunately, on the start, I did have a bit of contact with Andre and lost a few positions, but we did some damage control, held it there to the end with tons of pressure coming from Jake. Just lucky to hold on to the podium.
Yeah, I was gonna say during that run, everybody keeps an eye out and listens to their spotters, keeps an eye on the relative, and next thing you know, you're seeing fast guys left and right, off track, back in the pits. And at what point did you realize I might be in this thing?
Yeah, I wasn't complaining about that. I was looking up and looking ahead. So I was hopeful that we were gonna get up there for a podium, and sure enough, we did.
Well, Andy, a great run all the way around, doing the team well, do well and proud, as well as that 333 machine. Before we let you go and celebrate, who do you want to give a shout out to that helped you out with that third place result?
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to the guys with Maxwell Paper Products, Arturo, and Randy. I'd like to give a shout out to those guys and to Maxwell Paper Products in Dallas, Texas.
Awesome, Randy. Well said. Congratulations, and hope to have you back up here next week, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. That was Andy Ray Miller bringing home a third in the feature event. But up next, Cody Graham's the 101 machine. What a great night all the way around. A solid first in the feature event. A fourth, I believe, is what it was in the sprint race amongst your teammates, kind of filling up the top five. Can you ask for a much better day after this one?
It was a pretty good day overall. I need to give an apology to Danny there on lap one in the sprint race. I rear-ended him and spun him out, kind of ruined his race there. I was going to go up his inside, and I thought he was going to drift to the outside a little bit, and I ended up running into the back of him. So sorry, Danny, I didn't mean to do that.
Now, Cody,
but it was a good day overall for the whole team, actually.
Yeah, you guys just locking up podium positions, wins, top fives, a great points day for you guys. And I was going to ask, Cody, speaking of your incident, what makes this track so rough? Both in the feature event and the sprint race, a lot of contact, a lot of self-spins, and a lot of fast guys getting sent home early with problems here.
This track, there's just no room for error anywhere around the track. All the turns are so unique from each other. It's really important to get into a groove, it seems like, early on, and kind of conserve your tires too a little bit.
And I'm glad you said tires. So I was going to ask about setup on a track like this. How do you kind of decide with what downforce level you're going for? We saw a lot of passes made at the start-finish line straight. Drivers obviously running a little bit less downforce, able to capitalize. But how do you choose what you're going to set up for and run over this, and especially with how frantic the field was?
I ran a high downforce package. It was not fully maxed out on downforce, but it's a lot of downforce, and it just makes the whole lap easier. And you can also get a really good run out of the final turn down the front straight as well if you have a little extra downforce versus running, maybe a medium downforce package.
Yeah, we could definitely tell the difference between the corner speed guys, the point and shoot type drivers as well, depending on setup. So very interesting the different type of racing and line selection it led to. But Cody, a great race in the feature event, a solid finish in the sprint as well for you and the team. And for the final time tonight, you get the final send-offs, my friend. Any friends, family, sponsors you want to give a shout out to, the floor is all yours.
Yeah. Thanks to the Knox team and everyone. And Connor Wagner, I use his setups most of the time. I didn't use it this week, but I'm typically using his setups, and they're pretty good. A couple little adjustments there, and hopefully we can keep it going through the next race.
Awesome, Cody. Hope to have you back up here next weekend. And again, a great job, a solid result for both you and the team.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, sir. That was Cody Grams bringing home the win in the feature event, and we'll pull up the point standings once more for the sprint race results, whereas James Malaire, Alex Johnson, Jake Potts rounding out the top 3. On behalf of iFormulaLeague.com as well as Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, my name has been James East. Thank you all so much for spending a Sunday afternoon with us. It was a lot of fun calling the action, and I look forward to having you all back in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.